Good day, everyone. You know, here in Hamilton, Ontario, it is the most prejudiced and corrupt city there is. Right now, we have inside of Hamilton, Ontario, 2 people in ICU over the pandemic. To the government, it is amazing. It is all over the place. On my Facebook, it shows Manitoba, a lady going through there. There wasn't even one person in there. But all of a sudden, if you listen to your newspapers, all over the place, they're in cars, they're waiting up in lineups. And why would they choose Hamilton, Ontario? Well, like I said, because it's corrupt. When you have the mayor of Hamilton coming out with Barney the dinosaur, Doug Ford, because he's going to give them over $1 billion for an LRT for their train set, because they're really hiding money and propaganda of where it's going to. Now, we all know that everybody's going, you're just a storyteller. Well, let's get right into storytelling.
Mr. Speaker, my question is for the Premier. For the last few months now, we've been hearing an alarm every day of the second wave. The Premier, his cabinet, and public health continue to spread a relentless message of grave danger that COVID is about to collapse our hospitals and our healthcare systems, and that we are in imminent peril. However, the Toronto Sun reported today that the total number of COVID patients across the entire university health network, with over 1,200 hospital beds, including the Toronto General, Toronto Western, Princess Margaret, and others. Speaker, can the Premier inform this House how many people are presently in these 5 Toronto hospitals with COVID, and how many are in the ICU?
Well, I can certainly advise the member opposite that you probably heard the modeling that was presented last week that indicates that we may be up to 6,500 cases per day in Ontario by mid-December if we don't.
Now, let's remember the PPR testing, when I done my video before, is supposed to be at 25 because the threshold over above 25 does not show anything real. And they're showing the testing at, remember, 38 to 45, and all of a sudden every case is going higher and higher. And let's pay attention to this lady who is Barney the Dinosaur, Doug Ford, right-hand person about the pandemic.
In the action. That's why we did set up the framework that we set up to be able to move public health regions from one zone to another with additional restrictions, because if we don't take any action, we will be in the same situation as countries like Italy and Spain and other areas where their hospitals are overwhelmed. Right now, our hospitals are operating, most of them, at about 100% capacity, including some cases even a little bit more than that. But we know that hospitalization is a lagging indicator, so that as the number of cases climb, we're going to see the number of...
And why are the cases keep climbing? Because they're begging people to take testing. They want the testing to go up their nose. I've known people that are on the internet right now that are on Toronto Star, Global News, CP24 News, all of them going, I've been tested 5 times of wasting taxpayers' money.
Hospitalizations climb as well. So we need to do whatever we can to keep those levels under control, even as we're adding extra beds in the process.
Again, to the Premier, I believe the Deputy Premier is preoccupied with the projections and the models. In the Toronto Sun today, the facts are that there's less than 10 in ICU with COVID.
Less than 10 people in Toronto in ICU with COVID. Out of a population of $3.5 million, there is billions of dollars being missing, and someone and some people are responsible for it, and I guarantee you, it's your top 3 parties.
And I make this distinction with, but not necessarily from COVID. Well, the Premier threatens ever more business closures and restrictions. In Hamilton, St. Joe's Hospital today, with over 1,200 beds, is reporting 2 people with COVID.
In Hamilton, Ontario, 2 people with COVID. And I said to you, why would they choose Hamilton, Ontario? Because they didn't tell you anything about the sewage damage. They are just the biggest fraud city there is out there. Their paper is a fraud. Anybody who wants to become anything, never go to Hamilton, Ontario. You'll never become a thing.
Appears the Premier may be slightly overstating or relying on only models that have proven to be false, because the facts don't reconcile with the message. How can we consider the total closure of major cities like Hamilton due to 2 patients in their largest hospitals?
Let's remember, population of Hamilton, Ontario is probably 800,000 to 1 million people. And now you're going to listen to Mrs. Elliott come out there and go, this testing is important. The only thing that they're doing is using Hamilton, Ontario, because they have Bob Bertini, who's a fraud. They have Andrea Horvath, who's a fraud. They have them all there, from Tom Jackson to Terry Whitehead to the whole city council, and even David Duvall, and of course the other troll out of them all, Donna Skelly. This is the most pathetic thing. Let's get ready to listen to Mrs. Elliott come up with her bullshit and lies while we have Randy Hilliar, the only person in politics, telling the fucking truth today.
Speaker, my constituents are asking me, with the Premier's relentless message of alarm, is there proof or is it just...
Thank you. Minister of Health, sir.
Did you notice they blocked out the word propaganda? Because this is what they do, is they hide reality. Your papers, everyone out here, and all they do is lie for every fucking politician that has ever been made.
Mr. Speaker, in addition to the modeling that was presented, I can assure the member opposite that we are speaking to people on the ground each and every day within our hospital situation, in individual.
If they were talking to people on the ground every day for their hospital situation, there would be more than 2 in the ICU in Hamilton, Ontario.
Hospitals and within the Ontario Hospital Association. Yesterday, I read this, but I think it's particularly relevant again today, from the Ontario Hospital Association with respect to the changes that we made to our framework. The OHA thanks the provincial government for listening to the concerns of the hospital sector and its system partners, and for its leadership and response.
With 2 people in there, what leadership, what responsibility, how much bullshit can Barney the Dinosaur come up with the health professional, Mrs. Elliott? This bullshitter is a disgrace. You have me coming out here running for Premier of Ontario, the lone wolf, coming out here wanting Randy Hilliar to come out there. But is he going to? Not from what I understand. But you will have me coming out there, and they're going to want to stop me. The papers are going to want to hide me, but I'm coming out to the people.
Rapidly to the alarming COVID-19 modeling data presented yesterday. Those are the facts.
There was no facts to what she said. That was just a made-up story, and you're going to have all the Conservative Party going like this, like they're a bunch of fucking seals. What a fucking disgrace. A propaganda, a fucking Agenda 21 right here from your Canadian government, and what a fucking disgrace.